Greetings out there in YouTube land, and welcome to episode number 2, Battle of the Bands. And before I get into the next group of bands that I want you to pick your best, or your best, we're going to do the tally from last week's as far as who won that episode. So last week it was Boosie against Rick James. It was Earth, Wind & Fire against Maze. It was Temptations against Dramatics. It was Cameo against the Bar-Kays. And here's the tallies. Between Rick James and Boosie, Boosie won by 11 to Rick James 8. Earth, Wind & Fire and Maze. Earth, Wind & Fire won 15 votes versus 10 for Maze. The Temptations against the Dramatics. The Temptations won by 13 votes. The Dramatics had 7. And Cameo and the Bar-Kays, Cameo landslide, 14 to Bar-Kays 4. So that is your list of winners for last week. And let me just state this or stress this. This is not about what band is better. It's about what band you choose to say that you enjoy most. So because I got a few comments that kind of was thinking this as far as you should even put these two together. It's not a matter of that because no two bands are identical, so you can't judge them identically. So again, it's about who you prefer. It's not about who's the best. And let me give you my choices between these. Between Boosie and Rick James, that's kind of a close call, but in my book is Rick James because Rick James was my mentor. That's how I learned how to write songs and things of that nature. So Rick James was my favorite over Boosie. Again, that was a very close call. Earth, Wind & Fire and Maze, I would kind of have to give it to Maze, me personally, because a lot of Earth, Wind & Fire songs to me were very crowded. The horns, all these vocals and harmonies, these guitar layers, and just a lot of stuff going on. I just kind of liked Maze's sound, just the mellow pianos, bass, guitar parts, and Frankie Beverly's smooth, silky voice. Okay, and Temptations over Dramatics, I'm gonna have to go with the Dramatics. Big fan of Dramatics. Temptations were a great group, or is a great group, but I kind of lean more towards the Dramatics. That was just my preference. Cameo over Bar-Kays, Cameo. So let's move forward to the new group of people. Here it is. Battle of the Bands for show number 2. The Parliament against Funkadelics. Now, a lot of people are going to catch this because technically they're the same group. And what I mean by that is the personnel in the Parliament is almost identical, give or take a few people, personnel in Funkadelics. George Clinton came up with a very ingenious idea to put out 2 bands with the same group of musicians doing different styles of music because, as we know, Funkadelics is more edgy, social conscious lyrics and rock, heavy rock. Parliament was more or less dance, funky grooves, So between those two, who do you prefer? And it's not about who's the best. Number 2, crooners, Freddie Jackson and Luther Vandross. Now, Luther Vandross was first, as far as just being the number 1 crooner. And then Freddie Jackson came onto the scene, came out with a bunch of monster hits in the 90s, just legendary ballads. So between those two, who do you prefer? Next group, Anita Baker and Phyllis Hyman. Phyllis Hyman was first. What I love about Phyllis Hyman was not only she was a beautiful woman inside, and a woman that was not afraid to speak her mind. She didn't get caught up in that press conference PR nonsense as far as just put out a statement, we just say this. She came out herself and voiced her opinion on things because I never forget an interview she gave on BET, and they was asking her about the new talent. And at that time, it was like Janet Jackson. And she coined the phrase, manufactured studio talent, because she said, these are people that go into the studio, heavily believe in or rely on studio tricks, but if you just stick a mic in front of their face or just sit them on the stool with a piano player, can they handle it? Can they hang? And, most of those singers like Janet Jackson can. It's a lot of theatrics, a bunch of people on the stage dancing. I'm like, what is that about? It should be about singing, not a cabaret or musical. 50 people dancing. Didn't pay to see that. Didn't come here to pay to see that. And Anita Baker, you know, everybody's favorite. She's a darling, great jazz vocalist, great compositions. Like Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, it's hard to get through her stuff without reading the sheet music because so much is going on. You can't catch everything as far as these weird exotic chords. So the next group, the Isley Brothers and the Gap Band. Now the Isley Brothers is just legendary. You know, these guys, Hall of Famers, unbelievable ballads. You know, the Ernie Isley on guitar, one of the greatest guitar players that ever played, in my opinion. One of them, not the, but one of them. And the Gap Band, you know, they were responsible for a lot of funky stuff and a lot of good ballads. And what's interesting about the Gap Band is most of us got wind of them during their era of Oops Upside Your Head, Yearning for Your Love, Burn Rubber on Me. You know, that's when they took off. And that's when they were on, I forgot what label. But actually, I didn't know that they were on another label prior to that. And their style back then was totally different from the style that we are used to or accustomed to when we think of the Gap Band. You know, but they got to a point where they kind of changed their MO musically, so to speak, and that's when they kind of took off. You know, so it's pretty interesting if you ever get a chance, listen to some of their older stuff. You know, it's totally different from, you know, the stuff that we know them as. So there you got it. You know, Parliament over Funkadelics, or Freddie Jackson over Luther Vandross, Anita Baker over Phyllis Hyman, and the Isley Brothers over the Gap Band. You decide and you choose. I'm going to do another show probably by Thursday. Well, actually, I'm going to do it Friday. So if you can get your tally votes in by Thursday night, it'll make it onto the show. So again, I appreciate you guys' support. And there you have it, the Battle of the Bands. You decide. Who do you prefer? Till next time, take care.